Your eyes do not deceive you. This is a full lobby of Battlefield Firestorm in 2021. I recorded this on the 13th of May. It's back. Firestorm is actually back. No, I'm just kidding. It's not, but it is. But what I mean is that you can get games now. And the reason for this is that BF5 has recently had a massive surge in player numbers. A couple of factors at play here. First of all, EA Play, it's on that. It's also included with the Xbox Game Pass, so a lot of people on Xbox. Also, for the last month, it's been the free game on PSN Plus on PlayStation. That's where this gameplay is recorded. I squadded up with Tommy and Adam from Two Angry Gamers and we hopped on for some games. Matchmaking was incredibly quick. It always put us in a match within less than a minute, sometimes 30 seconds. Full lobbies as well. On PC, the situation's a bit grim. It's difficult to find a full lobby, especially if you're middle of the day working week. Friday evening, Saturday evening in Europe, like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. you're going to get more players and you can find a decently sized lobby, but it will take a while to matchmake. Don't forget about the cheaters either, because they're great. If you're on console though, from my experience, what I've tested this week, any time of day is pretty good and you'll get full lobbies. There's a ton of people playing this at the moment. It was just really interesting to go back to because I hadn't played it in ages, and well, this released in March 2019 and then it had 2 updates after that. The first one was in May where they added 3 new points of interest, I think. One of them was some blue flowers. It's literally what it was. An excavation site and some watchtowers like towards the edges of the map. And then in June, they added the dome, which is this massive dome. Obviously, you can go on top of it, underneath it, inside it. Just gave the map a bit of a TDM area, I suppose. But then after that, there was nothing. All quiet on the Western Front. Of course, Battlefield continued to update the main game for a little bit more than that. But Firestorm didn't get any more updates. A couple of educated guesses. Well, Apex released in February of the same year and absolutely popped off. And I imagine the big wigs at EA probably looked at that and went, okay, put all of our money in this game instead. Which is fair enough. It's a business at the end of the day, right? It could have been the fact that BF5 itself, the main game, was really light on content and the live service had been a big disappointment. So most of the devs had to focus on that instead. It could have been that there just wasn't anyone to actually continue the development of this game mode. Maybe all the studios were wrapped up doing other things. But I think the most important reason for the shortcomings of Firestorm was how it was released and paywalled behind a full price title. We've said this 1,000 times before, even with how brilliant its foundations were, it never stood a chance in this battle royale market where everyone else was going free to play, standalone, with regular live service updates. It was enough to capture people's attention for a couple of months, yeah, but in that kind of environment, realistically, it never stood a chance. But I thought instead of picking apart Firestorm and everything it did wrong, we'd celebrate what it did right and talk about the things that were awesome about this. To start off, the map itself, Halvoy. Going back and playing this, man, Criterion and DICE absolutely nailed this map. It's so beautiful. Different environments and biomes, snow-capped mountains in the distance. The Firestorm itself too, it was scary. You did not want to be in that thing, and that helped from a gameplay perspective because it meant that you couldn't really be a loot goblin sticking around in the storm instead of being active and fighting people in the play space. And this mode managed to integrate vehicles into a battle royale that hadn't really been seen before. Yeah, of course you had transport vehicles like cars and trucks, but at the same time you also had the experimental Colibri helicopter, which made for some awesome gameplay moments. And also there were bunkers on the map that you could open up. These were called vehicle breakouts. They took a while to crank open, but once you got in there you might find something cool like a tank. You'd then have to fuel it up, make sure you got some reserve ammo, and now you were in a tank in a battle royale game. Also in those bunkers there were safes. They took a while to open, but if you did, you'd often find the best high tier loot inside. The tanks were really interesting because they weren't quite the same as the main game in the fact that you had to have a driver and then gunners. So it was all about team play and coordination. One of my original concerns with this was that they'd be simply overpowered, but I never really had a problem with that in practice because the infantry had access to so much anti-tank capability like grenade bundles, Panzerfaust, explosives. And I distinctly remember one situation where me and my squad came across a Sturmtiger in the final circle. And the Sturmtiger is the biggest tank in the game. It's scary. It basically fires an explosive bathtub at people. And it made for this really unique mini-boss emergent gameplay that was all multiplayer. And we have to talk about the destruction too. Since Bad Company, the Frostbite engine has always done destruction the best. Warzone doesn't have it, PUBG doesn't have it, all they've got is a few specific walls on a certain map that you can only blow up with C4. H1Z1 didn't have it, Apex Legends doesn't have it. The most comparable thing in terms of the amount of stuff you can destroy is actually Fortnite, but I guess that is the whole point of the game. And it really led to some incredible moments. Is there a sniper camping in a church tower? Get a rocket launcher, blow it up. Is there a squad holed up in a barn? Artillery strike, say goodbye to the barn. Is the squad aggressively pushing your building and there's no way out? Well, put some dynamite on the wall, make a way out. And then you had the ultimate, the V1 rocket, and you could take out an entire village with this thing. This level of destruction enabled so many new gameplay mechanics in a battle royale genre that was getting stale by that point. Yeah, since release, Warzone has come along and definitely freshened things up, added a full loadout system with attachments, introduced some new mechanics, and also borrowed some from this game, like the armor system, for example. But I think that destruction is so key to having fun in a battle royale game that I fully expect that by October, November next year, if the rumors are true and Infinity Ward bring out their Modern Warfare 2, I'd expect that at that point, they may have added destruction to their engine and we'll get a brand new Warzone map that launches alongside that game featuring destructive elements. I think that's where Warzone has to go next, larger scale and destruction. One element of Firestorm that I'm really sad didn't get elaborated on was the story and the lore. Why there's a Firestorm in the first place? What's happening here in World War II to cause this? And there were elements of that put in place. A weird organization called Sulis, weather controlling machines. All the pieces of the puzzle had just begun to emerge, but sadly, development was abandoned and we never saw the end game. Firestorm was cool. Yeah, it was quite basic, but I think Criterion honestly did a great job. It was a brilliant start, and I think it proved that a battle royale on the Frostbite engine can work and be fun at the same time. Will we ever see another Battlefield Royale? I don't think it's coming for the next game, especially now we know that Apex Legends has made EA $1 billion to date. Why would they want to compete with themselves when they've already got something so incredibly successful? Regardless of that, I'd love to see a separate, standalone, free-to-play battle royale on the Frostbite engine based in the Battlefield universe and that core DNA, because honestly I think that would be incredible. Is it realistic? I'm not sure, and I'd guess it'd be a couple years before we even saw or heard anything about that, if they've even got plans to do it. I'd love to see it happen though, because I think something like that could be really special. With that said, that's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What were your favorite moments of Firestorm if you played it? And as I said, if you're on console, there's a ton of players right now, so get a squad together, maybe play solos, jump back in. You can still have a great time with this one, and remember just exactly how bad the loot system was. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't, subscribe for more. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.